Welcome to this ultimate tutorial where we are going to create a fun cooking game using Java. By the end of this tutorial, you'll have a working game that will allow players to experience the thrill of cooking delicious meals. Before we get started, let's go over the tools and setup you'll need. Make sure you have Java Development Kit, JDK, installed on your machine. Additionally, an IDE like IntelliJ IDEA or Eclipse will make your coding experience easier. Let's get started by creating a new Java project. Open your IDE and create a new Java project called Cooking Game. Within this project, create a main class named Cooking Game. I'll show you how to set up the project structure, which will include a few packages for organization. Let's build the game structure. We'll need a game class, a player class, and a recipe class. First, let's create a package called Models, where we can define our player and recipe classes. Create a new file named player.java inside the Models package. This class will represent the player in our game. Each player will have a name and a score. We'll include methods to get and set these values. Next up, we'll create the recipe class in the same Models package. This class will represent the recipes that players can cook. Each recipe will include a name and the ingredients required. Now, let's move on to creating some recipes. Create a new package called Data and a class called Recipe Data. We'll populate it with a few example recipes that players can cook. Next, let's create a simple user interface. Create a new package called UI and a class named GameUI. In this class, we will include methods that display the game's main menu and allow users to select a recipe to cook. With the user interface in place, we need to tie everything together in the main Cooking Game class. We will instantiate the GameUI and call the display main menu method to start the game. Now, let's enhance the gameplay experience. We'll create a timer that challenges players to cook a recipe within a certain time limit. Let's add a timer class to handle the countdown. Next, let's modify the cook recipe method in the GameUI to incorporate the timer. When a player selects a recipe, they'll have a limited time to complete it and we'll notify them when time is up. To keep things engaging, let's also implement a scoring system. We'll add scores based on how fast players can complete recipes. In the player class, we will modify add score to accept a multiplier based on the time taken to cook. Let's update the cook recipe method again. We will award points to the player depending on how quickly they complete the recipe compared to the time limit. So far, we have created a basic cooking game. To make it even better, let's add a variety of game modes. For example, we can create a time attack mode where players need to cook as many recipes as possible within a given time. To implement the time attack mode, we can create a new method in the GameUI class. This will allow players to select the time attack mode, after which they can attempt to complete as many recipes as possible before time runs out. Finally, we'll implement a way to save and load player scores. We'll create a new class called Score Manager. This will handle score persistence, allowing players to keep track of their high scores between sessions. Adding the ability to save and load scores will enhance the player experience. We'll call the save score method after a player finishes a cooking round. And that wraps up our cooking game project. We've built a complete game from scratch, including player management, recipes, gameplay mechanics, and score tracking. It's been an exciting journey creating this cooking game in Java. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more Java programming tutorials. Let me know in the comments what features you would like to see added next in this cooking game.